Welcome to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm joined today by the salubrious.
Oh.
I don't even know if you would call a person salubrious.
What is salubrious?
It's like healthy.
Oh, no.
Healthfully.
No, not me.
the indulgent.
Indeed.
Janine Gagliardi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's the 200th episode.
I know.
Can you stand it?
I can't stand it.
So we don't have a theme for this episode.
It's just, we're just riffing. Which we usually do anyway. We're like very digressive. Most of our episodes.
Yeah, really. Your episodes tend to be the longest.
Yeah, so it's 200 episode, 200 minutes long.
Yes.
Get ready.
Yeah. So how are you?
Wow. Okay. I'm good. It's been a summer.
Yeah.
I find that people are buckling up for maybe a little less of a out there fall.
I know, with the Delta Burke variant coming up.
Never cross a sugar baker woman. That's what I have to say.
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm trying to get at all the outdoor stuff in as much as possible.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't like to do things outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically Grandpa Joe. Willy Wonka. Like, I
selectively leave your bed.
I don't want to do things. Like, I really don't. Like, anything I do because Jen is like, do you want to do a thing? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I love that. I love that go get 'em spirit. I really do. Because I need that. I'm like trying to incorporate that more.
She makes my life more good. Mm-hmm. Because without her, I would do absolutely nothing.
No, this is 200th episode. But this is why you and I were so bad for each other, because I am also a sedentary, likes to do nothing person. And together, it's just, what day is it? We haven't left. It's dark in this house.
Tangent already. So, designing women. Going back to Delta Burke.
Are you saying Meshach Taylor?
Meshach Taylor was not a gay man.
Right. But made a career playing.
But made a career
because he's a mannequin.
Right,
also,
playing the exact same over the top.
Yeah.
It's like gay face.
We're already digressing.
Is he alive? No, he died.
No, he passed away.
2014.
Yeah.
Age 60.
I believe he's in the best Olsen Twins movie.
Can there be a best Olsen Twins movie?
It's the Halloween one. The double.
What one is that?
It's like double.
Okay, I get it.
Trouble.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen some of that on TikTok.
It's pretty good. Who's the bad guy? Cloris Leachman? Yeah. And she's campy in it. She's fantastic.
That checks out. Mm. That checks out. You gotta love Cloris Leachman. Double, Toil and Trouble
there
from 1993. He's Mr. N.
He lived, yeah. He just is like a man who befriends the Olsen twins when they're like on their own.
Yeah. His character in Mannequin is named Hollywood Montrose.
Well, that's a great name.
The Mannequin movies are fucking weird. Have you seen the Mannequin movies?
I've seen the first one a very long time ago, and I don't remember a thing about it except that I used to play Mannequin with my mom in department stores. She would be the mannequin, and I would come up to her and ask her if she would be my mom, and she'd be like, "Okay," and then she'd.
That's not how the movie goes.
That's the game. That's how the game is played.
The movie is much more filthy. That's such a movie you couldn't make now. The only way you make Mannequin now is to gender swap it.
Okay.
Like the way they had to gender swap Overboard.
Yeah.
Because gaslighting a woman who has amnesia into being your wife doesn't fly nowadays, I guess.
PC.
Yeah. So
who was the guy in that in Overboard? Because it's Anna Faris, right?
Oh, who was it? It was a handsome fellow. I don't think anyone saw it.
No, I don't think so either.
You know what was really bad? The gender swapped Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I think I walked out of that one.
Oh.
It wasn't called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, though. I forget what it was called. It was like Anne Hathaway and
Rebel Wilson. Yeah.
Wait, what was I looking up?
Overboard.
Overboard. IMDb's like, really?
You were throwing us wild cards tonight.
Eugenio Derbez.
Okay. Of course.
Not familiar with his work. He...
Huh.
I don't know.
Looks to be a Spanish language actor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good for him. Was the movie in English?
I don't know. I did not see it. Believe it or not, I did not see Overboard. It did not come out during the Movie Pass year where I saw every movie.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Regal. Before the pandemic, I was doing AMC, which was like one a week.
Right. You're doing, was it Movie Pass?
Well, I did Movie Pass when in the glory days of Movie Pass.
All right.
But then Movie Pass was never a good business, so
yeah.
And I single-handedly brought it down, and because I would go every day.
Yeah.
And so then when that was done, basically Movie Pass showed the theaters like how to do it, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll just do it without you, thanks." So then AMC was doing it, but theirs wasn't every day. Movie Pass was a movie a day.
Just wild
for like $20 a month or something.
That's the Michael Scott Paper Company. It doesn't make money.
Yeah,
it just loses money.
Right. It didn't make money at all. So AMC's was like once a week or something like that, or a couple a month. But now Regal is coming back, and now they're trying to get people back in the theaters because of the pandemic. And Regal's is one a day.
Wow.
One a day.
For what? What price?
I think 20 something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
that's really good.
Yeah. The thing is, there aren't really movies yet.
I know.
So it's like not worth it right now.
Like pre-Delta Burke coming back into our lives, and like post-vaccination, I was like, oh, I really want to see a movie. I miss going to the movies. But every movie that was in theaters was available to me elsewhere.
Yeah.
For like through HBO or through like Disney Plus or even Netflix in some cases. And I was like, there's nothing to see. There's nothing out to see. It was very frustrating. So now I'm seeing some movies show up in theaters, but I feel like it's just in time for it to kind of all go away again,
which
maybe.
Is very scary.
And so frustrating and sad.
I know, because
get vaccinated, people, please.
You think like, okay, the unvaccinated people, the ones that get hurt, but actually the people who get hurt more than anything is kids. Yeah. Because little kids are unvaccinated.
Yeah. And immunocompromised people. And immunocompromised children.
Yeah. And the Delta variant, I just saw a thing that was like the average person with not the Delta variant COVID, other COVID, would infect 3 people. But people with the Delta variant on average will infect 9 people. So it's not worse. It's just aggressively contagious. Yeah. And that's what's fucking terrifying about it.
Super contagious. You apparently have 10 times the viral load in your lungs, which I don't know makes it worse for you, but I know that younger people are being hospitalized at higher rates.
Okay. Yeah.
So I imagine, it must be. I heard a person the other day essentially like argue for the reason that they weren't vaccinated was that like, well, you can see that the vaccine's not really stopping the disease because we have these variants. And it's like, yeah, it's not stopping the disease because not enough people are vaccinated.
But also if you get it, like if you have the vaccination and you get the Delta variant, you're not going to die from it. No. You might feel very sick from it.
My boss, who's recovering from breast cancer, had to have a double mastectomy earlier this year, is vaccinated, got COVID because of an unvaccinated person she was traveling with. And had like a mild temperature.
Right.
This is an immunocompromised person. Right. She did okay because she was vaccinated.
Right. It's just...
And she had a breakthrough infection because she was in very close quarters with this person. But yeah, she lost taste and smell and had a mild fever, but she's with us today where I don't know that she would be necessarily during her cancer treatments. Like,
There's people saying that there's no point in vaccinations or... wrong. It's absolutely a point. I mean, from day one, it was always about like giving a shit about other people, and it's crazy that that's such a hard sell for Americans.
It really is.
Just like give a shit about anybody else.
Do you give a shit about like regular life? Like, do you give a shit about going to the movies or going to the mall or doing things that you like to do with your friends? Because like there's still going to be regulations until everyone's
It's not going to be
on
better.
board.
Have you been to the movies?
Not recently, no, I haven't. Only recently have I seen movies that were coming in theaters that I would want to see, like that I got excited about. Like, and it's funny. Previously, like pre-COVID, I would have been like, maybe I'll see it, but I'll probably go to the movies to see something better. But now, because there's so few movies that are just showing in theaters exclusively, Free Guy.
I saw that last night.
How was it?
I loved it.
Yeah?
It's way better than it needs to be.
Okay.
So much better than it needs to be.
It's a movie that's only being released in theaters, and I'm like, I want to see that. It looks fun.
Right.
It looks like a good movie theater experience. I would like to have that.
Right. And did you see the Suicide Squad? People were like, oh, it's not doing good. It's like, yeah, because you released it
on HBO
online
Max.
at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of glad that people are suing. You saw
Scarlett Johansson
is
well, they already
suing.
changed it. They already changed it at the shareholders call, or was it an investor call or whatever, like yesterday or 2 days ago. They changed it, and what's the name of the movie? It's the 10 Rings, the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Okay. They the CEO said that they're just doing a theater release. They're not going to they will have it available. This is the 45-day number. That was it. 45 days post theatrical release, it will be available on Disney Premier Access.
Okay.
And that would still be Premier Access, not Plus.
I think that's fine, given how fast things move in the theater. I think that's fine. She was when I first heard about her suing Disney, I was like, oh, how greedy. You've already got money.
But it seems like,
But then I learned that it was like she got paid less to take back end money. Like,
well, she probably rejected the deal. They probably made an offer to Scarlett Johansson to like buy her out for the streaming, and they rejected it. And they probably made another offer, and they rejected that. And they did a lawsuit essentially saying like, you're robbing us of earnings or potential earnings,
right,
because you're trying to like lowball us, and you're actually making quite a bit on streaming.
Right. Yeah. So, but who else is doing it too? Oh, what's her name? Emma Stone is suing because of Cruella.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now there's two.
So now it's
similar
two big
cases.
names. Yeah.
And I think in general that's good for theatrical release.
I think so too.
It sends a message, and I'm for it. Cruella 2's happening.
Is Emma Stone burning like a crazy bridge by suing?
I don't know with fucking Disney.
Because I feel like Scarlett Johansson is done with Disney most likely. Like she did her Marvel stuff. I doubt she's coming back.
You watched Loki, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay. I am after Endgame. I got up and it was like, thanks for the ride, fellas.
I'm gone.
I'm done with Marvel, and nothing since then. I've tried. I haven't watched Loki. I haven't watched Winter Soldier. I haven't watched WandaVision. I have no interest in the 10 Rings. I have no interest in the Scarlett Johansson one, whatever the fuck that one is.
I didn't see Black Widow.
I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah. No, I
Why don't
get
they
that
give
completely.
us a break? I understand you're printing money like crazy.
Yeah.
But there are no strategists in Hollywood that would suggest giving the brand a break. That's not of any value. I feel like there's gotta be. Am I the only one who needs a break? Maybe.
Well, look, I'm not a huge Marvel person. Like, the only time I've seen most of these movies is the one time I saw them in theaters. Like, I didn't rewatch them later on. Right. Like, it's just, All
right. And I haven't even seen them all. Like, I haven't seen the Captain America movies, the first two.
Okay.
I've skipped some.
Like, I haven't seen Thor: Dark World. I saw
that, but that's very skippable.
Yes.
Super skippable.
So I've heard. I've seen most of them, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say I've seen
because
most of
they're
them.
good movie theater experiences.
Right. Like Scorsese said, they're like rides.
They are like rides. They really are, but I think in a good way.
No, I agree.
In any event, I'm not like a big Marvel. I didn't watch Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Like, I couldn't tell you.
Agent Carter.
I honestly couldn't tell you most of the things that happen in these movies. I just like them.
Yeah.
But I know the characters, right? And I feel like there's a lot written about how superheroes are the modern mythology. And so you take Batman and he's like our Apollo, right? Like people at the time knew the stories about him. So you didn't really, or like Peter Parker's maybe better. Like we didn't need an origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man because we already know the origin story.
Exactly.
He's bitten by a spider. We get it. We know who he is. Let's give us a story.
Yeah.
That's like the old Greek plays where you didn't need Apollo's backstory. He was just in a in a play.
Right. I agree.
I see the Marvel characters in these shows as that. Less so with WandaVision because those are sort of
Loki literally
side
is a mythological character.
Well, Loki is, yeah. But it's it's very specific to the Marvel story, right? It's not like his.
It's not real
folklore,
Loki.
Yeah. But in any event, I'm very interested in the series because both those series were doing things that the movies weren't willing to do, which is sort of like take a chance with the story and do something a little interesting. Like Ragnarok is as close as they got. Ragnarok I've seen multiple times. I actually really love that one.
Taika Waititi's the villain in Free Guy, by the way.
Oh, weird.
Love
okay.
Him. Love him.
I know. Me too. He's in a throuple.
You bet he is. He's a handsome motherfucker.
So I find that it's useful to approach it like, okay, this is just a series where the backstory is they're superheroes and you know that. And let's go into it from that angle. WandaVision, I feel, works less than Loki does. I think the premise is really cool. I think Loki is the best one. Yeah, absolutely. It's just new adventure. It's a totally new adventure.
Okay. Did you watch any of the old Marvel Cinematic Universe shows that now don't count? Like,
I watched a little Daredevil. I watched a little bit of Daredevil. I know you watched Jessica Jones.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Jessica
I watched the
Jones.
First season of Daredevil only.
I didn't watch any of Daredevil.
I knew it had like a lot of hype at the time, but I didn't love it.
They're weirdly like not canon anymore.
Yeah.
Speaking of canon, I've got a canon question.
I don't know a lot about canons pre-Civil War.
No, it has nothing to do with Marvel.
Oh, okay.
It's just a canon question.
Okay, all right. Talk about World War II canons, though.
So, in Muppet Babies, in recently in the new Muppet Babies, Gonzo, like they had like the princess ball, and Gonzo wanted to dress like a princess, and then the boys were like, "You can't dress like that," and Gonzo felt bad. That. No, I think the boys were like, you can't.
Oh, well, the girls are the only ones who apologize, so I need another apology then.
I agree. So anyway, Gonzo goes to the ball, and they don't know.
Dressed as Gonzarella.
Right. They have no idea. And then Gonzo, like, at the end, they're like, it was me, Gonzo. And they're like, what? We had no idea. And they're all like, we're sorry we made you feel bad. But anyway, they start referring to Gonzo as they, them pronouns. And, the Muppet Haunted Mansion's coming out soon.
Oh.
And I was thinking, like,
grown-up Gonzo.
Right, is grown-up...
genderqueer.
Right, do we now call... In general, do we refer to Gonzo in they, them pronouns? Or does Muppet Babies not canon? What is... And that made me think, what is Muppet canon?
What is Muppet canon? Yeah.
It's like the nothing. You can't have Muppets canon. It's like Mickey. What's Mickey canon?
What's Mickey canon? Oh, talking about Mickey canon. Oh my God. They had a show on Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for years.
Right, which is like a real little kid show, right?
Really little kids. Like preschoolers. Huge hit for them. Really, really big hit. It's been off the air for years and it's still runs. Streaming like crazy. They have one episode of a show called Mickey Mouse Funhouse that's available. And Henry watched it and it's like, it seems like they're at a clubhouse, like analog house in the beginning, and then they go elsewhere to another house.
Never follow Mickey to a second location.
Never. It's a fun house. They obviously all did LSD on the way because the house turns into different things.
Sure.
It has adjacent side characters that aren't part of like the crew, like the core crew.
Clubhouse crew.
The clubhouse crew, but it's very odd. And then the other thing they did recently was they rebranded. So okay, around the time Clubhouse was ending, they created another show called Mickey and the Roadster Racers, which was for slightly older children, but still very, very young kids. And they own, like, it's Mickey owns a garage and he's a racer with all the other characters and they have like wacky adventures. Fine. So the first part of the episode was always like a racing episode and all the characters are in it. And then the second part was always like called The Happy Helpers, and it was Daisy and Minnie, and they would have like an adventure. Okay. They've now since, even though the show is not being made currently, I think, rebranded this as The Mixed Up Adventures of Mickey. But like all the episodes are the same, and I really want to turn one on because I want to see if the theme song is the same. Because that is weird. The Roadster Racers is like integral to the theme song, so I don't know.
Why would they do that?
I have no idea why they would do that. It's very odd and kind of confusing for like a child. I'm like, oh yeah, it's called something different now for no reason at all.
That is confusing for a child. Well, I remember as a kid, I found confusing. Hanna-Barbera had the Wacky Races, but then it was also like Laugh Olympics. It had 2 names. Do you remember that?
Oh, okay.
It was like the Marvel Cinematic
different.
Universe.
Yeah.
Because it was all which they're doing again now. Hanna-Barbera, like all the Hanna-Barbera characters together.
Huh.
And they were like in a race.
Weird.
In every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing that now with some show. There's also I really like the not adult, but I really like the contemporary Mickey cartoons. Produced by the producer Paul Rodish, who that's like the stuff that's like the official like way that Mickey looks now, like that's sort of like it's kind of inspired by the 30s. It's very like sketchy. Like that's from that stuff. And there's like actual like I actually laugh at those. And they do cool things like there's an episode where they all go to like a disco or like a roller skate thing.
Okay.
And they're having a great time. And then fucking Pete comes in and Pete has a new girlfriend. But it's a hot lady with black hair, but it's when Ursula was pretending to be the lady, it's her, and then she turns into Ursula, and then it's just Ursula, and it's voiced by Ursula too. So like they'll do things like that, like bring in Disney characters just in like just Pete's dating Ursula.
It's so wild, and
they're just skating around having.
They know
fun.
Each other from work.
Yeah, we're both Disney bad guys. You know, Pete's the oldest current Disney character. Because Pete was a bad guy in who's the one before that Disney lost the rights to?
Oswald?
Yeah, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He was the villain in Oswald.
So he predates Mickey.
Right, so he predates Mickey, so he's the oldest.
Okay.
Originally called Peg Leg Pete, because he used to have a peg leg.
Oh.
Which I think he does again, but he didn't have one when
he has a peg leg now?
Yeah, he has one again.
Huh.
There's actually a really funny episode of the new show where like...
So he's disabled. And a villain.
Yes.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it.
There's an episode
canceled
new show where you know that guy, he's from the old cartoons. He's like he hangs out with Minnie and he's like overly jokey and Mickey fucking hates him.
He hangs out with Minnie?
Yeah. I have a theory that he's supposed to be a parody of Looney Tunes, but he's another I think he's Mortimer Mouse.
Oh.
And he's kind of like like Mickey hates him because he's just so shticky.
Is he like lanky?
Yes.
Oh, he features in Roadster Racers.
Oh, okay.
And Clubhouse. He shows up. He's like Waluigi.
Yes, exactly. So in this episode, like he comes in and Mickey just starts focusing on Mortimer, and Pete's like, I'm your arch enemy. And like it's like
wow.
There's this like sadness that like we're supposed to be enemies.
It's
fun
funny.
Stuff.
He kind of functions in the little kid shows as like a big bad because they deal with Pete all the time, but he comes in for like special
Pete
episodes.
Is always the villain. Even in like Goof Troop, he was like the guy next door.
Kind of. Yeah.
Dick.
He's in the younger kid shows. He's like that where he's sort of a friend, but like
he's your friend.
He's a friend of me. He's like a bully that you hang out with sometimes, like Nelson on Simpsons. Like sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking Pete.
That's what I named Peter after.
Is that right? Peg Leg Pete.
Peg Leg Pete.
In Pete's history, he was both a dog and a cat, depending on who was animating him. Because they were like, "What is he again?" I don't know what he is.
I think they call. Wow.
Do you know Betty Boop was a dog at first?
I could see that.
And the earrings were dog ears.
Yeah.
She was the girlfriend of Bozo or Bongo, the dog, who was a dog character first, and then they gave him a girlfriend who was Betty Boop, and she was also a dog. And then they just started drawing her not as a dog.
We like you.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's so many the continuity back then. There's like Mickey cartoons where he changes model mid cartoon. Like halfway through, all of a sudden he doesn't have shoes or something.
That's something I always loved about cartoons. I guess it's like a little OCD-ish. When I was a kid, I liked that it would always like reset for the next episode, essentially. Like most cartoons, like The Simpsons even, like everything goes back to normal and then you start at square one again for the next episode. I liked that. I'm like, all the messes that were made, all the things that were destroyed.
Right.
And I think, I don't know, I find that like, I think it's very comforting to a kid, like knowing like, oh, it's all going to go back to normal the next episode, like whatever.
Yeah. There's another. Now we're just talking about Mickey, but there's another really funny
Mickey.
one of the new ones where it's like no shirt, no shoes. You can't go in, so they want to go in, but Donald's like, I don't have pants.
Right.
Like they really do a lot of fun, like playing.
And Mickey
with
doesn't have a shirt.
Right. So they like, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Only the girls can go in.
Yes. And Clarabelle is back in the mix.
Clarabelle's been. She's been back.
She's
in
in the Clubhouse.
She's in Clubhouse. They bring them in. They bring the old characters.
So there's no Mickey
no Mickey canon, and then I guess no Muppet canon, right? Because he was, although they try to bring the Muppet Show canon into the Jason Segel Muppet movie.
Yes, that's true.
Because he's a theater owner, or like a former theater owner.
But like the highly slept on the Muppets show that was like The Office with the Muppets from a few years ago.
Yeah,
so slept on. It's so good. It's all on Disney Plus. Watch it. That's like that's no canon. That's like
that just exists.
That's just like almost like a remake of the original. Although you come in with things like that Kermit and Piggy were together.
Right. That's always in the mix.
Yeah.
Were they ever married? I know one thing.
She tricked him into getting married.
Oh no!
At the end,
I feel like he's not. I always feel like he's not into her, and then he surprises me and he'll fight for her sometimes.
Mm-hmm. At the end of Muppets Take Manhattan, she tricks him into a wedding.
That was it. Okay.
And Big Bird's there.
Sure.
They used to cross over more.
Yeah. Jason
Segel wrote an Elmo cameo in his Muppet movie.
Okay.
And Sesame Street was like, no.
Aww.
Elmo don't fucking leave the fucking driveway for this kind of money.
No, are you kidding me? They get all the cameos there. Sesame Street is a dripping with star power all the time.
I know.
I guess there's no Muppet canon. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out. We've been misgendering Gonzo as the Great this whole time.
The Great. I mean, we know they fuck chickens.
Yeah.
But they're the only. Are you allowed? Or is bestiality allowed if you're living on not your own planet and there's no others of you? I want you on the record for this.
Wow, what a question.
Because there's no other, right? Muppets from Space.
Right. No.
If that's canon.
No, I'm going to say no. Because an animal can't give consent. Camilla, I shouldn't say
I think gives consent.
Do you
in
think
her
Camilla
own way?
I think Camilla is happy to be housed and fed. I don't think that she can give consent. Okay.
I feel you.
And Gonzo has not indicated. Gonzo has got. Right. Well, sure. So I don't want to misgender Gonzo, but again, if it's not canon, then I don't know. I'll just say they. I don't mind.
Sure.
So Gonzo has not indicated that they can communicate more than a pet owner and their pet with Camilla. Is that true? I feel like there are times where she'll be like, blah, 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 and he'll be like, okay, I locked the door. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I see what you mean. But then a lot of characters are like that in Muppet.
We deal with the important questions on PCMC.
This is the stuff that keeps us up.
This is what has got us to 200 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift gears for a second. Okay, so let's get to know each other.
Okay.
Let's see. What was the first nerdy thing you fell in love with? Like when you were a little kid, what was the first media narrative? What was the first show or toy or whatever that was like, that's going to be what her party is themed. That's what she loves. Okay. What was the first thing?
The thing that was like, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. Yeah. I had bed sheets. I had beach towels were going to be Little Mermaid. Any shirts were going to be Little Mermaid. That was the one, I think I've said before on this podcast that I also had a lot of Ninja Turtles stuff, but I don't remember loving it as much as I loved Mermaid. It was all Ariel, and I also loved to swim, and so I'd pretend to be her, and
sure.
So it was all about that. And I have videos of me singing the songs and stuff because your parents, the second you sing something, they're like, do it on the video.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I loved hamming it up as Ursula mostly.
Sure.
You gotta. She had the better song.
She does have the better song. She's got the better vibe.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the agency.
She does.
She's the better character.
She is. So, it was definitely Little Mermaid, for sure.
Was there ever a time in your life where, you were like, oh, I like movies and stuff more than other friends? This is a thing that I'm more... everybody likes movies and shows, but, I'm more into this than other people are.
Yeah.
Of my age. Or like I'm making funny references that other people aren't
don't
getting
get at all. I guess I wasn't high school. Like I already knew that by high school.
Right.
But yeah, I would say probably like 4th or 5th grade. I would like read things like voraciously about movies.
Right.
That wasn't necessarily like like you'd have like unauthorized biographies and stuff, and I'd get them about like Leonardo DiCaprio or like movie stars and things. It was all like that stuff. And then I remember when IMDb first came out, I'd be on there for hours reading like trivia about the movies and like little known facts and things. Like those lists would be like little known facts about your favorite movies. I'd devour those lists. Still
to this day, after I watch a movie, a new movie, I'll look at IMDb.
Okay.
I'll look at who the director was, who the actors were, and maybe I'll peruse the trivia. It's not as heavily curated as it once was. Like now you see like a lot of bullshit trivia. You see doubles and triples of trivia. Yeah. Because now it's, I think, very easy for users to add trivia. But I guess I'm still trained to check it out. It truly is a database. Like they succeeded in whatever they were trying to do. And like you never don't find it. Like maybe sometimes like if it's a foreign film you can't find it. But you can find basically anything on IMDb. But I'm with you. I remember like looking up that stuff.
Like pretty early days of the internet, it showed up and I was all about it. I remember like we'd be talking about a movie and I would become frustrated because like my friends just were like, it's good, it's not good. They're cute.
And you're like, articulate.
And I'm like, well, okay. But like, this is so cool because they did this here and like they shot this there. And like, no one else gives a shit. Right. I was like, oh, well, you got to find your people. Yeah. And, college is usually when you find your people. And like, I did for sure. I mean, you become like, the geek. Yeah. Right. Like the geek girl or guy. But the other thing that was really big for me was HBO On Demand. Like my family had HBO, and once HBO On Demand came around, it was like I had access to all these movies on whenever I wanted and shows. And like I remember I got really into George Carlin stand up. Yeah. And that was high school. Like all that was high school. And like I had other friends who were also interested in that stuff. So, I watched tons of movies. Like I got into comedy. Right. In using HBO because they would have so many stand-up specials on that they would have
invented
access.
the hour-long special.
They had all of that in their it was really like a proto streaming service.
Yes, really. That's so true.
This crazy catalog to draw from.
That's so true, yeah.
And I immersed myself in that. I absolutely loved it. So I would say it like kind of happened in stages. And then by the time I got to college, I was like, I know who I am. I'm this person. I like all of that stuff. I'm like, talk to me if you want to. I know everything.
Yeah. It's interesting because, you're younger than me by what, 4 years, 3 years?
I'm 34.
I'm 37, going to be 38.
Okay.
We have our foot in the way things were, and now we're living in the digital age. And so like I remember like VHS so deeply, and like the feeling of owning a VHS and oh my god, I have it, and I like those things, and like buying soundtrack CDs, and like anything, even like action figures, like anything you could do to like have a piece of the thing you love. And that's not the way it is now. I sometimes think about like a kid now, like imagine, I think like me, sometimes I think about how would I exist in different time periods. And it's like, if I were a little kid now and I had like Disney Plus and Netflix, and like, is the next generation just going to be like insanely media literate? Like just beyond the pale media literate? Because, we're media literate because of those things. I mean, I remember talking to old professors and being like, when I was going to school, I'd have to like look at newspapers to find pre-VHS. How are you a film major pre-VHS? You go and you find where they're playing Citizen Kane, and you drive 2 hours to go. Wow. Like the work that used to have to be put in to find old things. Right. And now it's just like, it's all right there. And I'm not bitter about it. I'm excited that people now have like this insane ability.
Yeah, and just right. So hopefully it's much easier to find your people, like the people who know as much as you about the stuff that you like. And, not that you should surround yourself only with the people who like the same stuff as you, but it's cool. You have access to a lot more things. I find that as the parent of a very young child, he is pretty much beholden to whatever I'm willing to show him at this age. So in that respect, he is, I try to like, in the beginning when we first started showing him TV, so it was about like 2 years old, so only about a year ago, I'd be like, let's try, I'm going to show you Mickey Mouse, and then show him that, or I'm going to show you Sesame Street, and then he'd ask for that. And then, I'd give him what he liked, and then every so often just pepper in something else that I knew that would be age appropriate and see if he liked that. And he pretty much likes everything. Like whatever it is, he likes it. But now he has distinct preferences, and he'll surprise me sometimes. Like a show we haven't watched in ages, he'll be like, I want to watch this today. I'm like, all right, cool. Good for you. He gets, pretty limited screen time at this age, but he knows he can get like 2 shows, I think, and sometimes he'll mix it up. Sometimes he's like, no, I want 2 Lion Guard, and I want this episode. I've had a rough day. Hit me with it. I need it. I need to relax. But it's interesting now. Sometimes he'll see something that catches his eye on the Disney Plus screen, and so like that's how he's gonna discover things. Like, which is like me going into the mom and pop video store and like walking. I used to go straight to the horror section because I was a spooky kid. I watched horror movies as a child, and now as a 40-year-old man, I watch Mickey cartoons. And so I would go right to the horror, and like I remember like the boxes for all these things, and like there were the ones that I would rent. Like I would rent Friday the 13th a lot and shit like that. But then the ones that like I almost was like afraid to rent. Like what is like I remember like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like what is this? Bill still has not seen it.
I'm afraid of it.
And it's like one of those movies that
it's so scary. It really is.
It really is.
Because it's just like this probably happens.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is like a documentary.
Right.
It feels so gross and real.
Yeah. Going back to what you're saying, like the version of that now is like I saw a cool thumbnail.
Yeah. Yes.
But what's interesting, the thumbnails change, right?
Right.
So like the VHS would always be.
Yeah.
Like I remember like the Ghostbusters VHS was just black with the Ghostbusters symbol, which used to be off skew. Like now the way they always show it is one way, but it used to be more tilted.
Huh.
But that was a Columbia, so that was like a clamshell, the ones that opened.
Yeah.
Whereas like the cheaper ones would just come out,
slide out, the paper ones.
Yeah. So like that's what that would like, and that captured my imagination, like going through and seeing VHSs and all of those covers and things.
I want Henry to have some of that. Like he's, I guess this is like hipster parenting. I don't know. But I like the tactile quality of those things. And so I have to like track down a TV with a VHS player. I think we have a VHS player, like freestanding one.
Yeah.
But I have a whole box of like all my VHSs from like Disney and stuff like that we kept. Like I never got rid of. And like bootleg VHSs and like this is something that we used to do.
Well,
just
they used
like
to be
recording.
a Disney vault, and you motherfucker, you could not get in that vault.
Going back to Little Mermaid being like my first pop culture thing. Yeah. Prior to it being on VHS, it was shown on. It wasn't even on Disney Channel. I don't think Disney Channel was a thing yet. It was like on ABC or like they were showing it on television. And my first. Like one of my first VHSs ever was a blank one that they recorded Little Mermaid on. And then my mom cut a picture of the Little Mermaid out of a magazine and like stuck it on the inside of the box. So like I could watch it whenever I wanted. And I kept them together like when I got the real one too.
Because they're both precious.
Yeah. Oh, loved it.
Yeah. I always loved the people that would like make their own boxes and shit.
It's so cute. It was the only one they did it for because they knew I loved it so much.
That's so sweet. When I was a little boy, for some reason, I was obsessed with the Masters of the Universe movie, like more than the cartoon. And I'd watch it every day. Like every day.
You get into these things when you watch the same movie every single day.
My dad, I'd be like, put on He-Man. And he'd be like, all right. And he'd put it on. See, what's interesting is you call yourself a hipster parent. I'd say you're probably just what a parent is now. But like there was very little censorship when I was a kid. Certainly there was none for violence. It was all like sex. And I wonder if that fucked me up or like helped me or made no difference at all. Because eventually you'll see it.
Yeah.
But like, would you, like if your son were like, can we watch He-Man? Would you show it to him?
I don't know.
Because Skeletor's scary. people are getting whipped in that. It's very homoerotic.
It sure is. I mean, that's not what I'm afraid of. Good for you. But
no, right.
That stuff doesn't.
The sadomasochism you want to hold off.
You want to hold on till they're in kindergarten.
Yeah, S&M comes later.
Yeah, that's for you to discover.
Because you got to learn the ins and outs of consent in that world, like
right.
You know, the code words.
Although if you start them there, then I feel like then they have a really niche understanding of consent, right? And then that is sort of like it's a no-brainer elsewhere. It's like, yeah, of course you do. What's your safe word? And be like, no, that's not how this works. No?
When you're tied up and Beastman is whipping you, consent is Skeletor says, tell me about the loneliness of good He-Man. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil? And that's like him asking, oh, we cool. Can we do this? And then He-Man...
Do we keep going?
Yeah, and then He-Man's like, sure, let's go.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's don't go. No, not at this age. You also have to know your kid. You know, I feel like some kids can handle it. Some kids can't.
Yeah.
I mean, my son just turned 3, so I feel like it's probably just too... Across the board, it's probably too old for him. But in any... Like, I also know he gets afraid.
Right,
and
Skeletor's pretty fucking scary.
I don't know what's gonna freak him out. Like, sometimes he's into spooky things and sometimes he's not. Like, the other day, he told me he was afraid of this picture.
Well, it is a picture of a skull.
It's a skull. It's not like super scary.
He's got a mustache and a bowler hat.
And a bowler hat. It's like a little silly, but now he doesn't like these. He's like, Mommy, these are scary. Why do we live in a Halloween house? I'm like, this is just how...
Like, because this is what I wanted when I was a kid, and now I'm living my dream.
This is how we're living in this house.
Yes. We live in a Halloween house.
Yeah. Although the other day I heard him pretend, he's like in this state of imaginative play, which is so much fun. So I heard him in here going, oh, skeleton, you have a nice house. Like,
lovely.
This is his house. This is the skeleton's house.
That's fun.
And then like I'll ask him, oh, what do you think you want to be for Halloween this year? And he's like, a ghost. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Which is last year he was a lion.
He was that was 2 years ago.
Last year was a lost year.
Last year, yeah. Last year he was Elmo, but it was sort of like nobody saw it.
Right. Did you do anything at all?
We did. We had a very small party here that we intended to be outside, and then that day it was like, usually it's unseasonably warm lately. It was extremely cold. It was like 40 degrees or something, and like windy. So we ended up being, I'm like, I'm sorry everyone, we're inside the house, I hope we don't all die. But it was like just a very small group of like mostly just parents with little kids, and it was pre-vaccine, so we're like, okay, just everyone be really cool and not do anything crazy like a week before we get together. And it was fine. It was not a super spreader event, but yeah, I was like Cookie Monster, Bill was the Count, and the baby was Gonger.
I was the Count one year.
I think I remember that. Or maybe you just told me that.
You didn't see me, so maybe I told you.
Yeah.
Or
it's a fun cat. It's like my favorite Sesame Street character, I think.
He's fun. He's fun and functional.
And old. He's just like an old ass vampire man hanging out with Elmo, who's 3.
Yeah. Has your oldest son asked to watch anything that you've said no, not yet?
Not really. Well, he's interested in Ghostbusters insofar as like he's heard the song a lot and he loves the song. And, Bill in his excitement is like, there's a movie, we can watch it. I'm like, we're not watching that.
Yeah.
So he's too little. But he's shown him like
the cartoon,
some things from like the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. The new movie looks like a kid's movie. So maybe the new movie, although it probably has some scariness.
And I would say like there's in the all-female Ghostbusters one, it's like lighter in tone, sort of.
Yeah, I feel like the ghosts are less scary.
Yeah, they're less scary. And it's like more colorful, I feel.
Yeah. Well, my first time seeing Ghostbusters, which is, if you know this show, if you're 200 episodes in, you know that I love it, and I have a Ghostbusters tattoo. I knew the cartoon first.
Okay.
And then my grandmother was babysitting me, and she was like, didn't know what to do with me, and so they had a VHS, and my uncle who lived with her had like a huge VHS collection. She was like, do you want to watch Ghostbusters? And I was like, Ghostbusters is on at 3:30, you dumb lady. And she was like, no, we can watch the movie. And I was like, say what about a movie? And then she put it on, and I was sitting in a Big Bird chair, like right directly in front of the screen. And I didn't make it past the first scene. The library ghost got scary. Yeah. And I like fell back. And I was terrified and I ran screaming. And then I didn't see Ghostbusters for like another year or so.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what that is. Ghostbusters is a lovely cartoon.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. And I want nothing to do with it.
It's funny. It's like things, I feel like they don't know what they're missing out on unless you like tell them about it.
Sure.
You know, so for instance, he is starting to, I find that there's like a trajectory of boys, specifically boys presents that they get. And it's like, it starts like super young with Sesame Street, and then they abandon Sesame Street altogether because by the time he was 2, he was getting Marvel stuff, which I'm like, he's little, you know, he's not gonna watch that yet.
Right.
You know, give him Mickey stuff or Sesame Street or any of these little kid things. But he has a ton of Marvel crap, like all Spider-Man stuff, like, and you know,
does he care at all?
Not really. He knows about the character, and he's like, "Oh, cool." It's not something he loves because he doesn't really watch any of it, but he's aware of the character, and so his exposure to it. You know, he's still into Baby Shark, for Christ's sake. Like he's little.
Baby Shark, Baby Shark.
That thing is a bonanza of merchandising. Like it is a show now. It's a show on Nickelodeon. They have Baby Shark.
Did it just start as a song?
It started as a song.
But where was the song?
The song existed prior to like the massively viral video. The song existed just in the world. Like it was like a public domain song.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that Pink Fong, which is I think Korean animation studio that makes like these. It's sort of like, I don't know if you know anything about Cocomelon, but it's like a 4 kids. It started off as a music channel or like a YouTube channel where they just do animated versions of like Old MacDonald or like songs that you can have for free.
I see.
They did this song which was kind of obscure, but it was, I think, public domain. And then they animated it, and it became...
It's the beat. It's the doot. Like, that's what gets you.
It's an earworm. It just stays with you. So it has like 1 billion listens or something crazy. And super short. So...
Right.
You know, and then...
I see the shirts and stuff in like Target.
Shirts, toys, just merchandise like crazy. And then it is an actual show now, I think, on Nickelodeon.
Really?
And... it's something on Netflix. It's like Pink Fong is the mascot of the company, which it's Fong, I guess, is fox in Korean, I think. And so it's just a little pink fox. It's very cute. And so it's like Pink Fong and Baby Shark Space Adventure, which is like...
That's the greatest title of anything I've ever heard.
It's like 45 minutes long. It has all these songs in it, and Henry has watched it like 3 times.
That's incredible.
He loves it so much. And they go to Spooky Planet. They're going in space, and they visit different planets, and then there's like a Halloween planet that looks like a pumpkin, and they go there and they sing all different like zombie and skeleton songs. It's very cute.
Yeah.
That's like a spooky thing he loves.
Well, I think kids are interested in spooky, but scary is different.
Yeah.
Like spooky's cool, but then like there's a line where it's like, no, that's scary.
That's too scary. Yeah.
Like someone's actually being hurt, or there's actual blood or whatever.
Or a lizard is biting them.
Or a lizard's biting them.
This is inside info about a nightmare my son had.
About a lizard biting him.
It was just a lizard biting him. That's the whole dream. But it was enough I had to hear about it 5 times that night.
Oh boy. That's what you get for letting him watch Rango.
That was Rango's creepy.
I've not seen Rango. I've heard good things.
It's a Gore Verbinski movie.
All
right.
It's
weird. It's odd. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just the animation is very creepy. You can see like every scale on his body. It's kind of gross.
No, I don't like that.
And it's Johnny Depp.
So
it's like a weird, creepy lizard. So
just like in real life.
Just like in real life. Do you have any getting more getting to know me questions?
I actually wanted to ask you about your kids. Like, when are you gonna bring them to the library? I know the library hasn't been open this last year.
Oh, no, we brought them.
You've done the library?
Yeah, library is open for limited visits of up to 30 minutes, and we go.
Okay.
The entire time of COVID was happening, we were reserving books online and just going to pick them up. So we'll get like 5 books at a time, and then those become like the bedtime books.
What's your relationship with the library?
Used to love it a lot as a kid. Went all the time. Didn't use it pretty much for anything. Now I use it for their like, I think it's called Simply E. For their just ebooks. And I use.
I thought it was like a Easy E's section of like.
It's actually it's MDMA.
Yeah.
And I just do it on the phone. So I use it for their ebooks, and this is really the first time I've used it for myself in like 30 years. And now I just use it for the kids' books. I get them.
I want to rekindle my love of the library. I have a Kindle, but I also buy books, and I love Barnes and Noble. But as a kid, I loved the library. I loved all of it. I loved the cheesy 80s and 90s library. And I don't know, at some point, like, I just stopped. I feel like bookstores kind of like became a big thing. And I do love being around books. Yeah. I didn't like have a relationship again with libraries until I was in grad school. And then I spent a lot of time in like academic libraries. But like, I want to go back to the library.
Yeah. Well, I would say Barnes and Noble kind of replaced libraries for me for a long time.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And I think it has a lot to do with like ambiance and aesthetics. It felt much cozier. It felt like a library should feel.
Right. They did that brilliant thing of like, we don't care if you read the books.
Right.
Or if you talk.
Yeah. We're fine.
And you want a cake and some coffee.
And maybe do some heroin while you're there. That became a problem apparently at the Richmond Avenue location. People were doing heroin upstairs.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I've heard that. Good. I knew a lot of people who worked there. And
boy, I'm sure you got the inside scoop.
Yeah, they would find needles and stuff in the parking lot.
Oh my god,
that's weird. Well, there was an opioid problem all in Staten Island where we live. So there was a time where, like where my mother works, which I won't say, somebody would go in the bathroom and do heroin, and they got caught. So,
oh god, I guess it's
luckily
just
I think it's peaked a bit. I think it's. You see less of like there was a time where you really saw like zombie people. Like it's like, wow, this is a true
pandemic.
Yeah.
And then a real one came around.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're both pandemics in their own way.
Yeah.
One in a real true sense and the other of pharmaceutical companies
making money off of destroying people's lives.
In any event, Barnes & Noble sort of replaced libraries. Yeah. I think being at the library now, like when we go, and I don't think a lot of people use libraries.
That's the thing. Let's make them cool
They
again.
know Henry. Like, they say hi to him and stuff. And, like,
that's cute.
They remember him. They're like, hi, Henry, do you remember me? And he's like,
no,
lady, I just came for my book. Like, he comes in with me. Like, I know, we're trying to minimize exposure now because he's not vaccinated, but he loves it. He wants to be in there. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing. I know some libraries are really, really nice and cool. Ours is sort of like an office building, it looks like. It's just sort of dingy and gray. The people who work there are amazing and lovely, but, they don't have like a designing budget.
No, right.
It's just, these are some shelves, here's some books. Yeah. It's gray in here.
Yeah.
You can use the bathroom if you want. Time to leave.
Time to leave.
Time to go.
There are computers. You can fill out job applications or look at porn if you want.
If you
don't jerk off.
No, please don't. That's also a problem in the library, apparently.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. Then, prior to COVID, we used to go to the story time there.
Okay.
Post-COVID, we did the virtual story time, but he really wasn't interested.
Sure.
He was just like, eh. But I found, what I found is actually, it seems like first-gen immigrants use it a lot, which is fantastic. It's a resource they're utilizing. We'd be there with almost entirely like immigrant populations. It was just like us and people who, were, granted, I shouldn't make the assumption that they moved here from other countries, but it was basically like everyone was speaking Spanish or Chinese or, something else. And it seemed like it was really being utilized by the immigrant community.
Well, part of the bullshit of capitalism is when we have commons and public goods, we don't treat them with the respect we should and don't utilize them the way we should. Like the library is an incredible common.
It's an incredible resource
that we don't.
So people come here and they're like, wait, you have this shit for free? What are you doing out buying a book? Get over here.
Do you know Amazon won't give or sell books to libraries?
Why?
Because they're evil. I just saw an interview today with, Cory Doctorow? He's like a scholar writer. He writes science fiction, but he also like talks a lot about like media and stuff like that. And he produced his own audiobook for his last book because Audible is owned by Amazon and they produce almost all the audiobooks, and you don't get like they own it at that point. It's something like that. And then he was just I'm misremembering all of this, but he basically was talking about like how Amazon sucks and the effect that they have on the world. And he was saying something about like Amazon won't sell at any price to libraries and more. And he was saying like you go to libraries now and you don't see like first run books from New York Times bestselling authors because of Amazon. Fucking Amazon. I told you this off air, but I'll tell you again on air. I for the first time I saw an Amazon plant because here in Staten Island there is one, but I never knew what it was. And then I found it, and it's like in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like literally, it looks like they were hiding it. There's nothing around it, and then like it looks like a college campus, but like bigger than the average college campus. There's like 10 buildings, and it's got its own stop signs and its own bus stops and its own buses, and it's like this is a city. And it was just the enormity of it. I found disturbing because I was like, this gigantic city exists where I live, but I had no idea about it. It just like like Jeff Bezos is like evil rich and all this stuff, but it's I always thought of like Amazon as a warehouse, like a one warehouse, not like a fucking world of it was just
plant, right? Like
that's just one plant. I don't know how many others there are in New York, but fucking it's huge.
Crazy. They're simply the world's largest retailer at this point.
It is.
He's becoming really Dr. Evil-y. Like he flew a giant dick into space.
Yeah, he certainly did.
You see, and he looks like Dr. Evil. He's a creep.
And then you have Richard Branson too. Like, what is it with these rich assholes trying to go to space?
I don't know. I feel like it's the ultimate expression of ego, right?
It's the ultimate
for
big
rich
dick.
People. Yeah.
Look at me. I went to space.
I mean, not even being crass. Like the rocket that he flew looked
exactly
like a giant
penis.
dick.
Like exactly.
It was ridiculous.
And like you're talking about a person that could end world hunger and like not even feel it, but would it never do?
No, I'm gonna waste my money on nonsense flights into space that help no one.
And he gave some speech like, he like tried to thank people, and it's like, fuck you, you're Smaug the dragon. You're just fucking evil. Fucking want to eat the rich. Anyway, you have any questions for me?
No, no, I do. Who's your favorite Ghostbuster?
All right, this is gonna take a few hours. So, Egon. Because he was the nerdy one. He was the smart one. And as a little kid, I wasn't really smart, but I was nerdy. Like I didn't have the Bill Murray like charm. Like even as a little kid, I would cosplay as Egon. Like I'd have like glasses without lenses in it.
Well, you had the curly hair, so.
And I had the black curly hair, so I kind of looked like Egon. So yeah, he was definitely my favorite. Bill Murray is clearly the leader in a sense, but Egon's the brains. He invented all that shit.
Yeah.
He invented all that shit.
You said you were preparing questions like, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
I don't know how to answer that because I think it changes.
Yeah.
And I think I have answers for different genres. I can tell you that the things that I've said, I mean, for years, I would say The Exorcist was my favorite movie. It's still one of my favorite movies. Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of my favorite movies. Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies. I think favorite is a very specific question that's distinct from any value judgment. Like, it's like, I don't think like Ghostbusters is the best movie
ever made.
It's one of my favorite movies, so it's a matter of like personal taste. And to me, I guess I think about rewatchability because I'm not a huge rewatcher or rereader. Are you?
I think I used to be. I would rewatch things a lot that I liked, like movies, like whole movies that I liked. I would watch them all the time. And that's dwindled over the years. I'm a very rare rereader. I think I've done like the Harry Potter series and like maybe a couple of other books. Like, I've read Pride and Prejudice like a few times because I love it.
Have you read the Harry Potter series a crazy amount, like Jen?
No, I don't know.
Because Jen doesn't even have an answer.
Oh, okay. No, I have an answer. I've read the entire series probably twice, and then I did it with Bill once, where he read it for the first time, but he was reading it aloud. And to Henry, who when he was like an infant and couldn't understand anything, but he was like, now you had the whole Harry Potter series.
But now Henry is transphobic, so it works.
That's it. So I would say 3 times front to back. I've done TV series more. Like that, it's just easier.
Yeah,
like Simpsons and 30 Rock, I've watched like countless times.
That's true.
But movies, it definitely has to rewatchability, and movies have really, really winnowed down to like a couple that I would still watch annually.
Yeah.
My favorite, I would say, because I thought about it, because I was like, I have to prepare. My favorite movie is Jaws.
Wow.
I watch it every year. Every single summer I watch it, and I love it every time. It's still just as good. You get new things from it. I think the characters are fantastic. It's just a really well-made movie. I love it.
I feel the same way about it. But I don't know if it's my favorite movie, but I might say it's the best movie. I think whatever perfect is, I think Jaws might be perfect. Right? And I've seen it a million times. And when I used to teach film classes, I used to show it. So I've seen it a lot and taught it and thought about it and watched it on big screens. And when I had back-to-back classes, watch it multiple times in one day. And it's pitch perfect. It really is. And it's funny because Jaws and Star Wars are thought of as like the things that launched the movie industry into the blockbuster era, which is at least thought of as like being vapid and not meaningful. But Jaws itself, I think, is fairly deep. Like so much of the stuff with Quint, the Indianapolis, and it's almost like Nemo. Like I didn't get as a kid that he was delivering the nuclear weapon that was dropped on Hiroshima. But like it's almost like the shark, you can see his like fate coming back to him. Like he was part of one of the most horrible atrocities ever. And it's almost like the shark finally came and got him. That's one way to read it. I mean, it's like a perfect movie. I think, like that's a perfect movie. I think Psycho's a perfect movie, except for one scene. If you cut out one scene, it's a perfect movie, and that's the very end where the psychiatrist kind of just explains everything too much.
Okay, yeah.
And you can even feel like, why is this in here?
Yeah.
This is just to, I don't know, for the audience to not freak out or whatever. Where he's like, no, he's not a transvestite. He is his mother. And it's like, what are you explaining?
What? Just
we don't
let him
need this.
sit there in the cell and do his mom voiceover in his head.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaws is a perfect movie. Isn't it? I mean, I can't think of anything I don't like about it. Like every shot, every performance, and you watch it a million times, like everything, like Chief Brody's secretary, who's like the old lady. She's like, the kids are karate chopping the signs, and just like,
boy, you're in early. Yeah,
like every little thing. The mayor and all the creepy fucking guys who are like
look like they're gonna strong arm the chief of police.
Yeah.
They like bring him out onto that little barge and then bring it right back in. Like you're not gonna do anything. Yeah.
And the medical examiner like goes back on what he said, and he's like, "You told me it was a shark attack." And he's like, "I don't know if I believe that."
Yeah.
God, it's fucking perfect. So good.
Richard Dreyfuss is excellent in it. He's so good.
Yeah, he's perfect in it. And the three of them together at the end.
Yeah.
It becomes a totally different movie, but it also is a great movie.
Like, the first half and the second half are two different movies, even though it's like the crux is the same. It's this shark. But the first half is like, okay, almost like a slasher film. Like the shark could show up at any time and catch you and get you.
Yeah.
And then the second half, it's like not a buddy movie, but it's like a quest movie.
Right, and they're so three different characters. But then once the shit starts hitting the fan, you see them working together and like trusting in one another and caring about one another. There's so many little moments in it that like stick with me. Like I love
one Bill always quotes is, "Chief, put the fire out, would you?"
Yeah, I love like the way that he just says it so casually.
This boat is aflame.
Yeah, I love when you hear Quint and you see his wife like leaving him, and she's like walking away, and the shot stays with her as she's like speeding up.
She's running away.
Right.
And he's like so mean to her.
He's so scary.
He's like, "What, did you bring your rubbers, Chief?" and they're kissing. Like she's kissing him goodbye, and she's really afraid that what does happen might happen. Yeah. And he's like, "Break it up, come on." He's just abusing her.
Chiefy, Hoopa drives the boat. That's well.
It's funny. They play good cop, bad cop the entire boat ride. Like Quint is usually bad cop and Hooper's like good cop, right? Like they're
right.
He's the reasonable one. He's the crazy one. But then at one scene, Chief Brody, who's, he's the clueless one. He doesn't know anything about the sea.
Right.
Pulls the wrong knot and like the compression tanks fall out. And Hooper kind of flips out on him a little bit. And then Quint is like, don't worry, Chief. Next time you ask me, I'll tell you the right one to pull. Like, he's nice all of a sudden. Right. Because he fucking hates Hooper so much. Yeah. That always strikes me as like, not that it's not perfect, but that's always like, there's the setup for the ending. That you need that shot. You need that scene to explain that they can explode. Show the compression tanks like... It's it's like Chekhov's gun. They show it like 3 times, I noticed, in the lead up. Like, they just keep getting little shots of it. Like, don't forget, we have these. This is going to be important. Yeah. I think, I don't know. What's my favorite scene? Maybe when they're in the hospital, like before the final half, they're in the hospital and the mayor... is like freaking out, and he's finally like, oh, my kids were there too, and he's like, do you have a pen? Do you have a pen, Larry? And he makes him sign the thing. I love every coat that the mayor wears. The anchor coat. Bill wants that so bad. Oh, that would be the greatest Halloween costume. I know. I love it. I love all the 70s people like who live in the town. You're never going to be an islander. If you weren't born here, then... and then she's at the meeting. She's like, I don't think that's funny at all. When are we going to open the shop? She's like the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Right. She's always like, I have an opinion, a viewpoint. I think that would be representative of many of the people in Amity. But I always forget how gory the little kid's death is. Yeah, the Kittner boy. Alex. Yeah. And if it sounds fresh in my mind, it's because I watched it yesterday. Yeah. This is my annual viewing. It is gory. And I watched it in a swimming pool. It was the best. Because it's so hard. It's hard to even imagine because you kind of see something, but you don't. You see red. You see like a crazy geyser of blood come out of the water, which I always forget about. I was like, holy shit, that's really bloody. Yeah. He breaks all the rules. Like, he was 26 years old when he made it, and he had no qualms about killing kids at that point. Kids, animals, anything. They killed a dog right before he kills the Kittner boy. Right. The dog just disappears. He's like a Labrador swimming in the water, and then it's gone. And then that goes right into there's the adjacent lake. And then the woman painting is the only person there, and she sees the shark, and she starts to scream shark, but nobody hears it. Right, yeah. God damn it. This episode's about Jaws now. It's Jaws. What's your that's your favorite movie? It's my favorite movie. Yeah. I was about to ask you like I had it. I used to have a shirt. Oh, I love this shirt. It's gone now. It was a poster of The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and it was like the Jaws poster, except it was the Belafonte, so the ship on the top, then the leopard shark, or what was it? Yeah, I think it was a leopard shark. I think like coming up like the Jaws poster. And it was like really like a blocky kind of graphic shirt. And I absolutely loved it. That's awesome. Did you like horror as a kid? I liked spooky things. Like, I liked In a Dark, Dark Room, and like mostly it was written. Like, I liked reading scary stuff. I had no tolerance for scary visual images. Like, oh really? Okay. I was afraid of E.T. as a little kid. He's freaky looking. So. Well, it was that one scene where he's like all white in the riverbed, and it freaked me out. Like, I couldn't do it. Edward Scissorhands used to scare me as a kid. I get it. Things that were kind of benign would really scare me. So I didn't get involved in anything until I was older. Get involved in anything. A little older. Like, I was a tween. I wasn't even in high school yet, and I was already getting into scary stuff. Spooky things. But like, I liked to be scared, but I really wanted to be able to like put it like out of my mind if I had to. Like, I didn't want to have to see the image. Yeah. I would imagine it, and that would freak me out enough. Like, I didn't need to watch them. But I always loved Halloween. Like, I always loved like that time of year. I love Hocus Pocus. I love like... That's one I think I watch every year. Hocus Pocus? Yeah, I think... It's in my favorite movies. I actually think it's fantastic. I think it holds up. I love it. I mean, it's I love it, but I feel like it's super flawed. Quality with Jaws. Yeah, this is not... But I think it holds up. I think it's a fun movie. It holds up, but there's a lot of 90s shit in it. Like they're like constantly roasting this 15-year-old boy for being a virgin, and he's 15. I know. It's like, chill, what is he everybody. To do? Jesus. Isn't this the age generation? Like, are we really pushing these kids and having sex? No, in the 90s, kids were like fucking and drinking Pepsi all day. Yeah, and then on their skateboards. Oh my god. No, I think for the type of movie that they were making, I think it's the best possible version of that movie.
You know, it's written by Mick Garris, who was a horror filmmaker, and you know, he directed the TV version of The Shining, and he wrote it as a scary movie, and then it got turned into what it is now.
Are there movies that you know are not good, but there's something about them that you love and you just watch them a lot anyway?
Sure.
I have a specific thing in mind that just reminded me of, like, I love the movie. I don't love it, actually. I guess I do. The Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
I think is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I don't think it's a great movie, but it's very moody, and I love that about it. Yeah. And I watch it a lot. Like, I watch it like almost every Halloween.
It is aesthetically gorgeous. And yeah, no, I like that movie. Probably a lot, actually. Like, a lot of it probably will be. See, no, actually, no. You know what? I do. You know, when I was younger, especially like when I was in high school and college, when you're becoming like a movie nerd or like a media nerd or whatever, and I would see this when I would teach too. When you're younger, you're building your taste, and your identity is wrapped up with your taste. So you want to show people that you don't like things. You kind of define yourself by what you don't like. I would see it all the time with like young film students, like these guys who would be like, you know, oh, fuck Twilight or some shit like that. Yeah. But as I age, I think I'm more about the things that I like. And even this podcast, I feel like there's certainly critical things. Like recently we were critical of Space Jam, but like compared to like what you see like on YouTube, like we're very mild. Like there are some things in the world of media that are entirely based on tearing shit apart, which is not what we do on this podcast. So I think I've gotten more. It's like the old joke about like sex is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's pretty good. Like sometimes I'm just like, it's a movie. I like movies. Like, like, you know, like I have the discerning taste where I can analyze things, but the analysis is still there, but the value judgment is less. Okay, if that makes sense. Like I recently just watched
I could see that.
Slumber Party Massacre.
Okay,
which I'd never seen before, and it is it's a pretty forgettable, not really remembered slasher movie. It's clearly trying to be like Halloween. In many ways, you know, it's just there was a whole ton of copycat movies when Halloween and, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th were big. So I recently watched a 4-hour documentary on 80s horror movies called Search of Darkness, and I've heard about Slumber Party. So I watched it, and I mean, on every technical level, it's a bad movie. The acting's bad, the story's bad. It's, you know, it's all super clumsy. The music is bad, the editing's bad, the cinematography is bad. There's a scene of ubiquitous scene of like the girls like having a shower together so you can see their boobs, which is like always a part of those movies. In this movie, Slumber Party Massacre, there's a shot of like, usually like what they do is like they'll cut to like a shot of a butt or like boobs, or like, you know, like they kind of try to make it like somehow it's still narratively justified, but there's a shot where like one girl's talking and then the camera just tilts down on her butt as she's speaking and then tilts back up like in one shot. Like they didn't cut it, and it's like the camera is interested in checking her out. Like it was hilarious. So anyway, I enjoyed that movie very much, even though it's bad. Yeah, you know, I don't know, it gets into like the philosophy, I think, of like this podcast, for me at least. Like I don't know, it's the stuff that is our culture. You know what I mean? For better or worse, I think value judgments actually, I don't think they do much for you. You know what I mean? At least for me, like when talking about like Slumber Party Massacre, what's interesting is the context and what it was saying and what we were thinking about at that time and how we were thinking about gender and how we're thinking about sex and violence, you know, all of those things. So it's like, so I think I do like bad movies. I watch bad movies all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I like, for instance, I love the podcast How Did This Get Made, and like their whole thing is bad movies, but a lot of times they walk away from a movie being like, this actually went down pretty easy. Like I liked a lot of this movie.
Well, like, I think a lot of famously bad movies, when you watch them, actually aren't that bad. I think sometimes people have it out for things. Like I've talked about how I think Godfather 3 is good. I think people had it out because they, at that point, Francis Ford Coppola had made like a weird name for himself. People didn't like that he put his daughter in the movie. Even like I remember seeing and liking Geely.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I think then it's crazy they're back together again. But I think the thing that people hated was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. They were a couple. They were all over the tabloids, and then they made a movie together. And they were like, "Fuck these two." So we've got it out. We've got the knives out for them. I mean, is it a good movie? No, I only saw it once, but I remember being like, we watched it like as a goof, and they were like, "That was a movie. That was pretty. There was funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
It was just like, why is that the worst movie ever? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
But then there are things that are flawed. Like, I love Ghostbusters, but Bill Murray completely just creeps on and gaslights Sigourney Weaver through the whole thing. I mean, he doesn't even believe that her house is haunted.
No.
He just goes there to try to fuck her.
Yeah.
And then when she's possessed, she's like asking him to fuck her, and he thinks about it.
He's like,
nah, I won't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's the hero of our film.
Yeah.
And he just negs her. It's just so, But you get into like gender politics and stuff in the 80s, and it's like, oh my god, you can't.
No.
Yeah. Are there any like things that you like that are actually bad?
I mean, there's stuff that I still like that I liked at the time because I was a lot younger, and then I'll revisit. It's like a lot of things I'm like, oh, that was so bad. Like I just liked it because I was young. I love the Austin Powers movies.
Okay.
Still. Watched them not that recently, but like watched them last year and was like the first one is still really funny.
The first one is really good, I think.
And of course it got like, well, it wasn't a meme at the time, but like a meme to death, and it's just it was all over the place, and like Austin Powers standees. It's like Borat. It was just all over the place.
That's how Funko got successful, by making the Austin Powers bobblehead.
Oh,
that was the first Funko
bobbleheads
thing.
were like the big thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just gave a Funko gift today for our birthday party.
What'd you give?
I gave a Pokemon one. I gave Venusaur, Bulbasaur, the baby one, the little baby.
Sure.
I
don't know Pokemon that
the
well.
The baby plant.
That's a bad movie I liked. Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, I liked it. I liked it just fine.
Yeah. It was cool to see CGI realistic looking Pokemon.
They could have done so much more with it, I think.
I think they're going to do like an HBO show or something. I think there's more coming. It was a weird first live action movie to do.
Why not just do the story? Why not do Ash or something?
Right.
Like I thought they were going to reveal that his name was Ash or I don't know, whatever. It was not.
Detective Pikachu was a game.
Oh, yes.
So it was based on something.
Something.
But I didn't know until I saw that movie that Pikachu is the species.
Oh,
I thought Pikachu was the name of a character.
Yeah, no. We were talking about this today because we were at a Pokemon-themed birthday party.
Awesome.
And Bill was like, so is Pichu like the first version and then it becomes a Pikachu? Because it has like, Pokemon have evolutions and things. Right. They also screwed up their own continuity because in the very first episode of the Pokemon series, he gets Pikachu as his like starter. Yeah. And then later on, they're like, oh wait, no, it actually starts with this little tiny one, Pichu, and then it becomes a Pikachu. It's like, well, where the hell did this Pikachu come from? Right. We don't know. But that he just is there. Interesting. Yeah. But so darn cute. They're so cute. They really are. They're so cute. What I know of Pokemon, I wasn't too old for it, actually, but it was like a trading card game, and I wasn't interested in that. So I was like, very aware of Pokemon, but like didn't actually play anything. What I know of them is like video games that came later. Like I played, I never played Pokemon Go, but I played like Pokemon Stadium for GameCube, and in Smash Brothers, they have Pokemon characters that you can fight as. So that's awesome. That's fun. Although I saw a little spark of interest in Henry today. He was like he's got to catch them all. I know. He's pointing at a Charmander, and he's like, "Why is there fire on the tail?" I was like, "Because he shoots fire." He's a cool one. He was like, "Oh, he's a cool one." Oh, what is this? That's fun. Maybe we'll get into it. Maybe we'll see. His best friend's into it, so right. I mean, that's interesting too, right? Because that shows that franchise has legs, right? Because what are we, like 6 generations in or something? Like it came out when like we were kids, or when you were a kid. When I was a kid, you would have been like 12 or 13 maybe. I felt too old for it. Yeah, though. I felt like on the cusp of being too old, and it was easy for me to not be interested in it because I was already like interested in other things. How old is the kid that was a party today? He turned 5. So this is a small kid. So 5-year-old is into it. A 5-year-old is into it, and you could be into it for that is going to take you pretty far. Because then
there's
he
games.
Doesn't play
and
video
shit.
games yet, so
Right,
like they
right.
have that whole
There's
world
a whole
to
world
get
of shit
into.
for him to get into.
Yeah. And the toys are older, not older kid toys, but they're like bigger kid toys. It's like, choking hazards and stuff, things that like little kids can't play with.
Funkos, I think, even say this is an adult collectible, not a toy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sue us. Is there anything you ever tried to get into and you just could not?
Yeah.
You just like, you gave it a shot.
I'd say anime.
Okay.
The stories looked very interesting to me. A lot of them have to do with like, I shouldn't say, I slantways got into like almost kind of Inuyasha, the show. Because I was just an insomniac who stayed up late. So I used to watch Adult Swim cartoons all the time. And then at like midnight, it would turn over into Toonami and become anime.
Yeah.
And then the first show that was on was Inuyasha, this show.
I'm not familiar with it.
It is so I would just have the TV on and be like on my laptop or like doing something. And so I just keep it on and ended up kind of getting into it a little bit because it was cool. It was like Japanese folklore anime.
Cool.
And so the main character is like a schoolgirl who somehow gets sucked into like a well and she ends up in like ancient Japan.
Yeah.
And there's like wars happening among like supernatural characters, like folklore characters. And like this, I don't know if he's like a wolf or a fox or a dog or something, like a dog man, but he looks like a man.
A dog man.
Basically what that is like he's a person, but he has like fuzzy ears and a tail. So it's like a furry, I guess. And she is rescued by him and then like she becomes part of his story.
Okay.
And it was cool to see all these like, because some of the characters are really scary looking and crazy. And it was just like cool to see this aspect of Japanese folklore that I didn't know. But if it was shown in chronological order, I think I would have been more interested in it. But they would just show like a random episode.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, I can't keep up with that. Like I had no idea what was going on. And like pre-streaming services, like it was something you'd have to really seek out if you wanted to get into it.
Like I've been getting to anime now, but it's super easy. It's super easy because you could stream shit. One thing I really tried to get into was X-Files.
Oh, okay.
And it's bad. It's not good. And it's like I wanted to get into it so bad because everyone was like, oh, you're going to love it. You love sci-fi, blah, blah. And I was just like, this is just the quality is not here.
Not good. I don't know. That was something that always struck me as like, I'd probably like it. But then...
Well, that was what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, it was always on the back burner. Like one day I'm going to watch it all. And then I started and I was like, this episode wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then the second episode I was like, this wasn't very good as well. And then you get the people that are like, oh, it doesn't get good as season 4. And it's like, well, what the fuck? I don't have a life to blow.
There's some shows that I'm like, I'm sure I'd like this, but is it really that good? Like, oh, okay, for instance.
Life's too short nowadays.
I know.
Like, there's too much.
There's too much, and I find that some things I just know aren't going to be that good.
Sure.
I'll give you a for instance.
I mean...
Like any CW property.
Yeah. Well, what the limitations of that kind of show are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, a show like Supernatural.
Right.
Right?
Which has huge fan base. It was on for 14 seasons or whatever.
Crazy amount of time. I'm like, I like the subject matter.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like the show.
I don't know, because you liked Buffy.
Yeah. But I think it holds a lot of like nostalgic value for me, where I revisited it and I liked it when I revisited it. I think Buffy's
still good.
I think so too. But I think I wholeheartedly loved it as much as I did because I was younger and just had less exposure to other things. I still love it. I don't know. Is Supernatural on the same level as that?
I have no idea. I always thought that I would try it. I don't know if I'd like it or not.
I don't want to watch 500 episodes.
That's that's what keeps me from trying it.
Yeah.
Like the 2-year commitment.
Yeah, no. It's not happening. Really try. It's not. That's how I don't get involved in the Star Wars animated stuff.
I don't get involved.
That's their business.
There's one that's on now that I'm not watching at all.
The Bad Batch?
Yeah. Because there's also a spin-off of the Clone Wars, which I didn't really get into.
Right. Well, I've
my least
said
favorite
it like
period.
If the boys get into it and they want to watch it, like I'll watch it with them at that point. But like at that point, it'd be like an old show, so I don't know if they want to see it. Right. Who knows? I try to follow. I mean, he's very little, but I'm trying to follow his lead a little and suggest things that. And not just dump things on him that like I like or that I want him to like.
I see that a lot with millennial parents, and I get it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, get into what they're into, or like, you know what I mean? Like, let them get into things that other people are into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like their peers are into. Like, absolutely, you want to share the things you love with your kids.
Right. It's very exciting to, like, if this is the person that you love the most and you want to share with them the thing you love the most, right? But at the same time, right, you said their peers, the things that their peers are interested in. You want them to be like,
be able to have a conversation
with their contemporaries, right? Like the things that they're like.
If you're talking about the Paw Patrol movie and your kid is like, sorry, I saw Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what? Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Right. It doesn't help. It doesn't help them socially at all.
No.
I mean, realistically, right? So like, even though we don't have Nickelodeon, Henry knows what Paw Patrol is because it's everywhere, and he gets like little marker books and sticker books, and like he has a Paw Patrol bathing suit. The kid has never watched an episode, but he knows about it. I'm not paying for Nickelodeon, so that's all he's gonna get, but he knows what it is. And it really, like, you can see, it's funny. I'm glad we're, this is kind of a good thing to like round out a 200th episode with, is how pop culture really connects us, even from our first years on this earth.
Yeah.
He is wearing a Paw Patrol, and he wore a PJ Masks bathing suit, 2 different bathing suits that he wore to swim lessons this summer. And little kids were like pointing at the bathing, I like your bathing suit. Oh, I like that dog. Or like, I like that character. Or this one's my favorite. And it's like they're connecting over this shared interest in a show or like in pop culture. It's one of the first ways we connect with other people. It's crazy.
What's going to happen when he is old enough to know that you have a podcast and that you talk on a podcast?
They talk about him a lot, right?
Yeah, he's like, this bitch is obsessed with me.
He's my boyfriend.
Do you have a favorite episode of PCMC?
Yes.
Either when you're on or not.
I love the Halloween episodes. I really do. My favorite episode is probably my entry episode because I laughed so hard. I knew Anthony was going to be on, so I listened to it. It's the Luxurious Zords episode. Yeah. Where Emilio does this like very good Andrew Dice Clay impression for a while, and then it was the Trump like North Korea, but if they had Zords. Yeah. It was making me laugh so hard. Oh my god. So yeah, that was just
that's early on.
It's pretty early on. That's that was my first episode. I laughed and laughed at that episode. So that's probably my favorite.
That's fun.
Do you have a favorite?
What's your favorite that you've done?
That I've done?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had so much fun recording the Halloween episodes that I think of those immediately.
Yeah,
but
me too.
I love the Love, Death, and Robots one. I love getting into that with you.
Yeah, those are good. Sometimes I think like I should just do Halloween. I should just do a Halloween podcast.
Just do Halloween, right?
But I guess it would take away some of the, the specialness of it. It is cool that it comes, and we're coming around that time again.
I love doing the Over the Garden Wall one.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Our first one was the Haunted Mansion, and we did the Simpsons Halloween specials.
That was your first Halloween? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do I have a favorite episode? As a negative person, I have more episodes that I don't like when I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't done it that way, or I wish I had done it better. I like those ones that you said. I guess I like the show and tell ones. The ones that are like, we're talking about something that isn't necessarily wildly popular. Okay. But we do a deep dive on it and kind of do what I think a critic does best, which is explain its worth. Which I think both those examples, Over the Garden Wall and Love, Death, and Robots, are examples of these are things that are popular, but they're not wildly popular. Yeah. Same thing. I feel the same way about the Gravity Falls episode.
That, you know what? Maybe that's my true favorite because it got me into Gravity Falls just on the basis of you guys talking about it. I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. Like, animation sounds cool, and we just did not our second rewatch, but we just rewatched the entire series, and it's so good. And every dense. Episode is so good. I want to rewatch it again. Like maybe next year I'll just do it again. It goes down so easy. It's short. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's excellent. And the show got me into it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess those are the kinds that I like the best.
I like that you've been diversifying a lot. Like you've been going out to different areas with different hosts and getting people, instead of doing like the sort of classic episode format, you've been just getting people to talk about things they love.
Yeah, I sometimes feel bad that I don't do enough of like the original format that we came up with, which was like 3 segments, the news, the chill sesh, and then the obsessions. But I think I got to a point where like it just seemed I was just much more interested in doing topics. But if I had started that way, if I had started with the idea of like every week's gonna be an entirely different topic, that would have seemed like insurmountable to me. But somehow I think it built in a way in my brain where it's like I feel like I'm getting them out of my system.
They're naturally taking that route, and then sometimes you just will do a regular episode, which is fine because it feels like it's in keeping with the overall vibe of the show, which is I think
I also feel like the regular episodes, I feel like you can listen to them, but like the news will be old, the trailers will be old. You know, it's I feel like they don't have the re-listen ability. I remember I was talking to somebody that I worked with about the podcast, and they were like, "Oh, I'll start with the first episode." I was like, "You don't really have to. You should start with the last episode." And they're like, "No, I watch everything from the first episode." And I was like, "Okay, well then you're not gonna like." Not that I think the first episode's bad, but it's just like I don't know. I don't know if you could be grabbed that way. I don't know. Are there any episodes that like I don't know? We talk all the time about ideas. We always have like a nice bank of ideas that we all pitch and talk about. We have a Discord that we share, but we also text each other and stuff. But are there any things that like you definitely want to do? Like so like or maybe something you want to try? Like one thing we know is that I'm not a music fan, so there's almost no music. There's no, which is a huge part of pop culture that is ignored by this show. Yeah.
Bill really wants to do like he wants you to have like subgroups in your episodes where you have like collection episodes. So it would be like, you know, PCMC collections, and then it's you know, Emilio's wrestling t-shirts or sneakers or you know, whatever it is, and he wants to do vinyls.
I see.
He wants to do like, you know, his vinyl collection, and then also like why get this on vinyl, like what is the value of having it as a full album. And I mean that's done to death with like Rolling Stone magazine and stuff. They do those lists, but like but you know, just talking about it from a millennial collector, say, right? Like what is that?
Or just like him,
or just him, or just what his deal is, what he likes.
We're all individual. Like I mean, like I know that there's a billion podcasts, and now in the last year with the pandemic, there's even a crazy amount more than there had been. Yeah, but there's tons of podcasts that don't make it past 12 episodes. Yep, and
like 70% of podcasts don't make it past the first episode, let alone
completely, like you know, putter out. So I lost what I was saying.
But it's just there's a lot of people and there's a lot of viewpoints, and
yeah, exactly. Like people say like, I'll even joke like, oh, I'm a cisgendered white guy with things to say, but it's just like that's what I think is amazing about podcasts. Like to me it's like it's the most incredibly democratic medium. It's just like anyone. It's like the printing press. It's like incredible to me. Like really what it has done. And people go, well, don't you feel weird that everyone has one? And it's like, I'm fine with everyone having one. I think it's great that everyone has one. Like I can't wait to see like what the next generation is going to be. Like I think it's incredible. And I know pop culture is like big. Like people say like, oh, the better way to become a successful podcast is to have a very niche thing. And we don't have that really. We have pop culture, which is like everything. But I don't know. I feel like our show is different from other shows. I don't feel like, you know, some of the topics maybe are the same as other shows, but I don't feel like if you listen to PCMC, I don't think like it's interchangeable with a lot of other things.
I don't think so either. And I'm really, really going to like toot our horn a little bit here. But I find that these episodes, even prior to me being on it, I don't make myself like crack myself up, but they make me laugh. Like there's a levity to them, and there's also like a real critical like mind, an analysis to them as well that I really enjoy, and a love of the stuff. It's not like some other podcasts where they'll just give you like pretty much like the dry history of something. Or it's just a comedy podcast. It's like it strikes a nice balance.
Yeah, and it's not super. It's also not like hateful. It's not like, as much as I love it, like, you know, How Does This Get Made, or We Hate Movies, like, those are podcasts that are about making fun of movies.
Yeah.
Or like a lot of what CinemaSins does, or Red Letter Media, like like it, and that's sort of not our vibe.
Yeah.
I think I was like, earlier on I was like a nerd, and then like I went to school and like became more academic, and then, you know, I did a bunch of different other projects, but I feel like this settled into like, this is like my voice more than anything. A little smart, a little dumb, a little analytical, you know, whatever, you know. PCMC, I could definitely say, whether it's good or bad, I could say it's like, I don't feel like I'm putting on anything. Like, this is basically like the expression that I have. And I don't see it ending. I mean, like, I think sometimes about like, wow, 200 episodes, like, it's been years. Will I end it? And I feel like, yeah, I mean, I'm good at knowing when things should be over, but I don't have, so I know like a point will come where I feel like it's done, but I don't feel that yet at all. Like, I still feel like there's tons of things that I want to do. Yeah. So there might come a point, but I don't know. I think it's a while from now.
All right. I'm in.
Do you know how many episodes you've done?
No.
Neither do I. I know I probably said that like I had an answer.
I thought I was getting one. No, I don't know. I know we've done this more than once.
Certainly,
but I'm not a mathematician, so I couldn't tell you that for sure.
I'm not good with math learning. Well, I just want to say before we end, I just want to directly speak to the people that listen and just say thank you so much for listening. You know, no joke. Whenever somebody who listens reaches out to us, in any way, it makes our day, because it lets us know that people care and that people like it. And, you know, like, I feel like podcasts are such a intimate thing. Like, it's a part of your day, it's a part of your morning routine, or it's a part of driving to work or whatever. And to know that like there are people that every Wednesday they're like, oh, there's a new PCMC, and they're going to listen to it while they do whatever. That's fantastic. That's all I wanted the show to be. So just thank you so much for listening. And we'll do a couple hundred more. Yeah, we'll do 1,000 more. And thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you so much for making me a part of it. I told you at Anthony's birthday that 1 year.
You kind of strong-armed yourself into it.
I sure did.
You invited yourself to the party.
I did. I was like, I want to be part of this. Make it happen.
Well, as we were at my brother's birthday party, and when we said goodbye, as you were walking away, you said, call me when you want me on the show.
And here we are, 200 episodes.
Yeah. We end every episode.
I have no puns related to 200 episodes.
Well, go bye-bye.
Go bye-bye.